Hey, what's up everyone, my name is Swag and I quote-unquote quit Warframe. Jokes aside, Leyzar Gaming, who is a staple in the Warframe community when it comes to explaining how weapons work and who offers some great starting builds for any player level, recently uploaded a video asking why you quit Warframe. I'll leave a link to his video in the description, and if you don't know Leyzar, definitely check him out. Going over many reasons why a player would quit Warframe, I found the video interesting and thought it was worth the response from a somewhat creator perspective. So first and foremost, I want to say that the quote-unquote are on purpose, since I agree with the fact that Warframe really isn't a game you have to completely leave. As a PvE looter shooter and from a player perspective, there really is no reason to go F this game, I'm never playing it again. More to that later though. Now if you like these kind of discussion videos, do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more discussion type content on all kinds of topics. It would really help the channel out and make sure we get more people into our awesome little community. Right, first off, I quote-unquote quit Warframe. I even uninstalled the game live on stream, and I can honestly say it has been a great decision to do so. Now do mind that I speak from a creator's perspective here, so some things might not seem as important to you as they do to me, which is perfectly fine. Now why did I leave the game? Do I still play, and will I ever come back? To answer Leyzar's question, there are multiple reasons why I left Warframe. Reason number one, after close to 3 or 4 years with no real significant changes in the gameplay loop or missions to play, the game simply feels stale. Going for the X round of a defense mission, going for the 100th Eidolon, or wasting away in survival for hours really doesn't feel the same anymore as it used to. I feel like Warframe can benefit from some much needed revisits to how missions work and how to make them more enjoyable or feel more important. Doing the same mission over and over again for some arbitrary reward like a weapon or a cosmetic simply doesn't cut it anymore. As sad as it is, to me personally, Warframe simply isn't fun anymore. Number 2, the chores that need to be done to get to late game and afterwards. Leveling factions like Little Duck, Fortuna, the Necrolisk factions, etc. all need their daily missions done for a newer player to even see a little bit of improvement. As a player who has pretty much maxed all of it, except their Necrolisk and K-Drive because they're simply not enjoyable, these don't really matter. However, the feeling the game gives you, for example Nightwave, simply isn't enjoyable to me. Warframe is starting to feel more like a job when you first start these tasks, and the progress is simply too slow to really give the player a feeling of achievement. Number 3, recycled content, and with that, the lower importance of doing timed events. Leyzar shortly mentioned this in his video as well, but recycled or copied content is a huge bummer. Simply using the same rewards with tiny changes for example Nightwave or other timed events is not how you incentivize players to play through it. Now of course the argument could be made, it's cool for newer players who miss those rewards, but I think that's exactly what Warframe could benefit off. Making sure you have an event with rewards that simply do not return make those rewards feel special, and the players who did invest their time feel more rewarded generally. An item or skin really has no weight to it when it can be obtained again 3 months later. Almost every MMO out there has items that aren't obtainable anymore, and accounts with those items are kept in high regard. Now of course Axcal Prime is a thing, but a paid reward isn't what I'm basing this off of. Number 4 is late and often unsatisfying updates. It's no secret that 2021 as of right now is lackluster in terms of updates. Sure, the Sisters of Pavros are cool, but in the end they're just a copy of the Lich system with some slightly different mechanics. Other than that, not a whole lot changed this year for Warframe, and it shows. TennoCon was a very hyped up event, but one decent update a year doesn't cut it. Especially when the same update has been announced 3 years ago. It's astonishing to me how early certain things in Warframe get announced and how late the actual update hits. And this is with almost every mainline update. I fully understand the technical limitations, however Warframe doesn't need a WoW moment every year. And with WoW I don't mean World of Warcraft, don't worry about that. What Warframe needs in my opinion are tangible, noticeable improvements to its core. No real big updates are necessary besides that right now. New players already complain about the sheer amount of stuff to do, and it only gets worse the more gets added. That also ties into the fact that a lot of new quote-unquote content gets to players way too early. The whole last month's argument about spent 100 hours and the game gets fun bullshit taken aside, giving players too much to do leads to an oversimulation, which causes players to think that Warframe is unnecessarily difficult, while it's actually fairly brain dead once you get the gist of it. Number 5, and this personally for me is a large topic: developers cherry-picking feedback. Like the last point, to those who are this deep into Warframe, it's no secret that the company Digital Extremes listens to a very select group of people. I won't go into details because I don't want to cause drama, but players who have criticized the game on its lackluster updates, lack of core gameplay updates, and more are known to be treated with a talk-to-the-hand kind of approach. As someone who creates content on the game that primarily focuses on constructive, semi-well-placed criticism about practices and developments that make no sense, I know this feeling, and I'm aware that there are other creators out there who feel the same. I waited 3 months on a reply to my creator application and have waited another 2 months for a response to a follow-up question, which I still haven't received. There is no response. All the while, befriended creators in the same space get responses within days. This practice made me lose a lot of respect for the developers, not because they didn't answer to me specifically, more so because DE treats creators who do not sim for the game the same way. A player who goes through the struggles of creating content with everything that brings with it should at least be able to expect a response in a timely manner, completely separated from the fact that their content isn't in line with the curated content Digital Extremes wants to promote. Number 6, getting bored. Creating content around Warframe is a very thirsty and somewhat competitive space. There are a bunch of channels who do their utmost to get info on new updates, etc. out as soon as possible. There are also a bunch of channels who regurgitate the same content over and over with a slight twist to it, and personally I don't feel like being in that space anymore. 99% of the content made on Warframe in the last few months has been stale to say the least, and that is partly due to the incredibly long, dry period between updates and channels simply trying to survive with what little content they have left. Again, as mentioned so many times before, I don't want to start any drama, and I respect most of my fellow Warframe creators. However, I'm simply too bored to continue the build videos, the Warframe guides, etc. You want to understand how a frame works, you can use the wiki for that. You don't need someone like me to tell you how an ability works. It's information that is readily available, and a lot, if not all, of the quirks and synergies are listed there. Build your own palette of knowledge based on facts, and don't just watch some dipshit on YouTube. Make your own builds, test them out, learn how to play the game. That is way more exciting than listening to me telling you what mods to use for big PP red crit damage on your cringy as fuck setup. Now obviously there is more to why I left Warframe, or quote unquote quit Warframe, but I think this video is long enough and the points made speak for themselves. So yeah, I hope this answered your question, Leyzar, and this also opened a way for me to speak out about this without having to do a cringy half-formal video on the topic. The elephant in the room is, do I dislike Warframe? Now that I've been able to take an outsider's perspective and play other games a lot more than I used to. No, I still adore the game for what it is and love its unique style. I will always recommend it, and I've never supported the whole hate train from leavers towards the game. There are improvements that I feel are necessary, however that's just an opinion and mine can differ from yours, which is fine. If everyone would think the same way, we'd live in a pretty boring world. Now once again, if you like this video and the discussion style I'm going for, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new videos. Again, also check out Leyzargaming's channel on this topic, the link is in the description below. Stay safe out there, later.